Welcome to Talking Tech, our new web series where we talk with Hillsborough teachers about their experience with virtual teaching and learning. I'm Todd McDonald, the Technology Integration Coordinator.
Hi there, I'm Amy Mealy, one of the computer support teachers that support 3 of the elementary schools. Today we're talking with Miss Tori Wargo, one of our favorite Triangle teachers. Tori, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi everyone, I'm Tori Wargo. I teach at Triangle School. I am in the self-contained autism program, and currently the grade level that I teach is kindergarten through 2nd grade.
Thanks for being with us today, Tori. So we're interested to find out, what would you say your biggest success has been so far with distance learning?
One of the things that has been so amazing about this time together doing the remote learning has been the connections that I've been able to make with my parents. Typically, I don't get to spend as much time with them. So during this remote instruction time, we've had a lot of opportunities to see each other. And it's really helped to bridge that home to school generalization and to bring that gap together, which is vital for success, especially in special education. So the parents have been able to see me working with their children on targeted skills. They see how I prompt them and the language that I'm using with them. And then I'm also able to see the parents working with their children, and I can give immediate feedback for how they can change things to start to progress in various skill areas. So that's not just the academic instruction that we're doing, but it's also working on those life skills, things that they can do at home, which is extremely vital for our students.
So tell us a little bit about working with your groups. It's such a big part of your program to have that morning meeting each day. So how are you translating it to this kind of setting?
The challenge for my students is I need them to be able to see me. I need to be able to see them. Then when we do our morning meeting in school, we have our presentation behind me, and there's lots of music and movement. It's really important to give them that music and movement so they have a good kinesthetic approach to their learning, and they can see and hear things. So there's multiple sensory, integration happening as well. So it was a bit of a challenge to find out a way to get the audio and my mics and the ability for us to see all the students. After a couple of things, though, what we were able to do is I have 2 instructional assistants in my classroom that are with me full time. We were able to do a pretty seamless morning meeting and successful morning meeting together just last week, and we're excited to do it again because we're doing it every Wednesday. But what we're able to do is I stay as the person who can stay without presenting, and then one of my instructional assistants will present our morning meeting. So she'll actually do the Google slideshow behind me. And so she can play the music, and we keep everybody on mute. So I know that they're hearing the songs. They get to continue to hear my beautiful voice sing along to it, but they can hear, and I can see them sing and dance, and I can see that they're doing the motions. They can also see me. So we were doing like head, shoulders, knees, and toes last week, and they could see and hear me doing it, and I could see them doing it as well. So I'm able to assess that they're following along and they're following directions and commands. And those are all the things that we work on and that we look at, making sure they can generalize during our group instruction.
It sounds like your morning meetings are growing really great. What other tech tools are you using that you're finding really appropriate for your age group to use at home?
Some of the other things that we've been using in the learning is just that I've been able to create a few different teaching programs that we would use with our students. Teaching students with autism, I use discrete trial instruction, and it's a little bit more challenging to work with some of the nonverbal students because you're not always going to be able to get that verbal interaction that you could get with some of the other students you would work with. So we've actually created, and I'm going to go ahead and present that, a couple different ways to try to teach them some of their skills. And what we call things receptive. That's by touch, that they would respond to things. So today I was actually able to work on this with one of my students, and I was able to say, touch the ear. And while I couldn't necessarily see them touch the screen, I was able to hear their parents' feedback, and their parents say, "Oh, good job, they touched the ear, great job." Or when I was hearing saying touch the nose, you could hear the parents say, "Okay, no, that's the hand, touch the nose," and then they were able to do it, and you heard, "Oh, okay, good job." So I think as we go, we're going to continue to learn and see how it works with the children. but for, right now, each week we're trying to find, new ways to approach the really individual learning that we need to do to continue to progress forward with the students. So that using those presentations for some of the discrete trial instruction was really helpful.
Have there been any challenges trying to meet with students individually that you've had to work through?
That specifically challenge in terms of some of the connections that we've been having, a really neat success is that one of my students ended up having to travel to India in February for a family emergency. And because of COVID, he has not been able to return to the States. We were able to get him back and registered in the school and continue his instruction remotely, the same as the rest of the students in my class. And it works out really well. I can continue to give him the individual instruction. Typically, I see him around 9 a.m. here, and there it's about 7 p.m. It's really neat that we can continue to provide his instruction, considering that he is so far away. And what's also neat, we do that individually, but then in group, he's still able to see all of his friends. So they're making those connections, and we don't quite feel that there's that much distance between us. That's been a really neat success that we've been able to have with him as well.
Tori, this is great. Thank you so much for talking tech with us today. It was so great to see you.
It was wonderful to see everybody too. Thank you so much for having me.